Alright guys, so here we are. This, by the way, is our newest addition to our fleet of Miatas. This is a 2012 Sport that we just picked up, and pretty nice shape. Kind of replaced the top, got a couple of tears in the usual places on this, and we'll get a video of that, but only got 37,000 miles on it. So it's in nice shape, and take a look at the radio with you. Alright, so this is pretty much the stock radio setup. They had a number of different trim levels. This is the one that has a full range speaker in the door, and then a tweeter mounted, and it also has the two little speakers here in the back. We're going to do a separate, whole separate treatment on those, because we are developing a replacement product for those. What we're doing today, of course, is we're going to work on the radio, and we'll also get those door speakers out of there. They're pretty horrid sounding on these trim cars. Actually, all of them were. For the third generation, the Bose is pretty awful as well. So we'll get the top down, get ourselves a little bit of working room, start taking out the center console and the old radio, and get into the replacement. Alright, so looking at that little fuse panel here, see if we can get a circuit here to use. I got three, interesting here, I got three conductors going in, but I've only got two fuses on this block. I'm going to look up in the wiring manual what we've got here, but I see some pretty good size gauge wires. So there might be something here for us to use. So we'll take a look at that first. Of course, our worst case scenario is we might have to run a line back to the battery, but I'm thinking we may not need to do that. So let me investigate this one a little bit further. Alright, we got the camera set up, so let's start. So we got a couple pieces to pry up, and then a couple of set screws, I believe. Now, this is for the 09 to the 015. If you have an 06, 07, 08, you don't actually need to pull the console off. You can actually just get at the radio and the climate setup from in the front, which we'll do at the end of this process. But for the later years, we got to take that center stuff out. So let's get on that. And these side pieces want to pull back. There's just some clips that are holding them in place. There we go. Alright, the next trick is we got a couple of screws on the sides here we want to remove, and same on both sides. Alright, so now we got a bolt on the back that steadies that. So we got to take off the panel here, the sort of knee panel, drives compartment. And we got a couple of screws in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That we got to get out so that we can get at the bolt on the side there in the back. Okay, so we'll call it 4 screws. All right, what we got now is a 10mm bolt over on this side. That way up in there. So I'm thinking a nice extension here will do the trick. And if we've done everything right now, we should be able to pull this out. Let's see what I got here. Alright, got a couple connectors to take off. And there we go. Alright, here's the radio cavity. I didn't realize it, but this is actually held with just a little push fastener down here in the bottom. And once you actually let that thing out, then you got plenty of room to work with this to put it together. Other than that, not much here. We got the duct work for the vents. We have the front speaker set up. I don't think there's anything in this one, and that's really only for the phone anyway. And next thing we're going to do, I'm going to take this glove box out, and we're going to see what sort of space we have underneath and behind in there for our little amplifier. Again, it's pretty small, but we do need to find some place to put it, and our experience with a lot of the other Miatas and then some of the older imports and so forth is usually a little bit of room back in there. So we're going to see if we can go for that. So let me get the camera back on the tripod for you guys, and we'll continue along. Alright, looking around here, I think I could probably cram this in someplace. There's room on the side here, some under that false floor back there. But I'm actually liking the idea, given the gaps I'm seeing here, I'm actually liking the idea of putting the amp right into the back of the glove box. We got plenty of cable, no problem to tip it down to get access, fuse, and some of the other connections. So let's take a look at that. All right. I am definitely liking this. Right in the back of the box, doesn't weigh much anything anyway. Just on principle's sake, I put a sheet of aluminum underneath just to act as a heat sink, help with a little bit, because this will get a little warm. And but there's plenty of air moving around over the top of it, so I'm not worried about that. So, easy to get at the stuff here. All I have to do is plug the harness in on this side, so that's no big deal. So yeah, I think that'll do it. Alright, and I'm liking it, because that's what you actually see in the glove box, unless you bend way down and look up inside. Probably dress those wires up with a couple of ties across the top, and then wrap the pieces on the end just so they don't get any rattling or anything. But I think that'll work out alright.